Welcome to my YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, share, and drop your comments. Thank you. In today's tutorial, we'll learn how to make a loose, baggy jumpsuit. This jumpsuit is easy to sew and it's beautiful, and I just love it. It's when you wear it, you feel so comfortable. Okay, the first thing is I will show you how to draft it out before we go to the fabric. The first thing you need to do is to measure the length of the jumpsuit, and to make it easy, the illustration easy, I will be marking out a dress, that is a long gown. So the first thing I did is to mark the length of my dress. Then I'll mark my shoulder. And the way I usually mark mine is I'll mark 3 inches first. I'll mark 5 inches. And from that 5 inches, I'll come down by 1.5 inches. That is if I'm sewing for an adult, and that is what I'm doing here. But because I'm using a mini paper, a small paper, so I'm just showing you how to mark it out. I'm not using the exact measurement, but the first thing, if I am to sew for an adult, is to mark 3 inches, then mark 5 inches. I'll come down by 1.5 inch. Then I will now mark my my armhole depth. So this is me trying to mark out the armhole depth. You know, after marking up the shoulder, I'll mark the armhole depth, and from there I'll put my bust, the bust circumference divided by 4. That is what I'll put there. So if the bust is 40, for example, I'll divide it by 4 and I'll mark 10 at that point. Then from there, I'll go from my shoulder line. Now I will mark my waist. That is from the shoulder to the waist. That is what I'm marking now. And then I will mark also the hip line. That is for the hip line. So I'll put the measurement of my waist at this point. That is my waist divided by 4. The waist circumference divided by 4. And at this point, my hip circumference divided by 4 also. So assuming the waist is 28 divided by 4, that will be like 7. So I'll mark it. Now I will join. Then I must say that don't forget to put your seam allowance. It's very important. So here the hip measurement divided by 4 also. Now I will join also. It will bring out the hip curve. Then from there I will just, since this is a dress, a gown, I will just go straight down to the length I want. It can be, you can make it a 3/4, you can make it your full length. So at this point, I'm just marking out the neckline. It should, for an adult, it should be 3 by 3, and you just mark out the curve. So let's go to how to draft the jumpsuits now. I marked my shoulder at the center of my shoulder. Then I'll come down, whatever you want it to be, how deep you want your the jumpsuit, where you want it to start. So from that point, you will draw a curve to the armhole. About 3.5 or 4 inches should be fine at that point. So you just connect towards your armhole. Then the next thing is to work on the neckline, the depth of the neckline. It depends on how deep you want it to be. 6.5 or 7 inches. It's okay. So you just draw your, that is if you want it V. If you want it like straight, you can just go straight. Now I'll go to the lower part, the hemline of our dress. I'll this point from the center point, I'll come in by 7 inches. I will then mark the crotch depth. Now to get my crotch depth, it will be my hip circumference divided by 4. Then I will add like 2 inches or 3 inches to it. That is, if your hip is 40, you divide it by 4, that is 10, plus 2 inches, making it 12, or you can make it 13. Then from that point, I will join it to the mark, to the lower part of the hem part. Then from this point too, I just marked my my ankle, the ankle circumference. So you measure your ankle round and you divide it by 2. So that is what I marked at the lower part of the dress. Okay, from my hip, I'll come down at this point at the hip line. I'll come down by 3 inches. But if you want, you can maintain that hip line. So that means between the hip and the crotch, you just find a point that is convenient for you. For this particular tutorial, I'll come down from my hip line, that's what I'm marking now, by 3 inches. But maybe subsequent, if I'm sewing again, I think I will maintain the hip line. So I'll connect the line like that. That is from that mark, from 3 inches on below the hip line to my hemline. And from the armhole line also, from the armhole, I'll connect another line. So I will have something like this shape. I hope you understand what I just did. The next thing is to cut out the pattern. So you can actually do this directly on your fabric. I only did this pattern so that you will understand what to do. So this sharp V part is the part that will fall. That is the core, the part that will fall beside the jumpsuit. And the crotch towards the hem line, that is where you will sew. So you are going to cut this for the front and the back. It is the same thing for front and back, and you cut on fold. You cut it on fold. It does not have zipper, it does not have anything. So you just place on your fabric, or you mark your fabric direct, and you sew it. So I will show you where I am cutting it on my fabric. I actually use this silk fabric. It's very light, but I would advise that if you are sewing this style, it's better you use maybe a crepe, a medium weight crepe, or better still lycra. I think lycra is actually perfect. It's the perfect material for the style. So I'll just fold my fabric into 4. I'll place it, and I will mark and cut. You might not see the marking very well. That's why I explained with the paper first. But exactly what I did on the paper, that's what I will do on this fabric. And I will cut it out. I will take it to my sewing machine and I will sew. At this point, I'm done cutting. So the next thing is to take it to my machine and I'll sew it. And this is what I have. I made the sleeve free so that I can always tie it. And that is it. This is what I have on the mannequin. Because I use a light fabric, a silk, a very light silk, so this is the outcome. It's actually beautiful and very light, easy to wear. But I would, if I'm sewing it next time, I would prefer using a lycra fabric. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Don't forget to like, drop your comments. Thank you. See you in my next video.